Upcoming in this news edition, Catholic Christians across the globe are celebrating 12 years since the Holy Father Pope Francis ascended the leadership of the Roman Catholic Church from March 13, 2013 to today, March 13, 2025. The population of the Southwest region has been reminded of the need to constantly check the health of their kidney. This as the global community celebrate today, 2025, 13 March, as the World Kidney Day. And it is in football that 24 clubs in the Southwest region have been approved eligible for the 2024-2025 Regional League in the Southwest region. The resolution taken today after a meeting at the regional headquarters of Fecafoot. Hi there, good evening, dear viewers. You're welcome to Divine Mercy Prime, the last but one edition for this working week. Today, Thursday, the 13th of March, 2025. With me, Jude Mbako Munyo in Buea, Cameroon. You just heard our headlines. Stay now, for we bring to you the full news details. You're welcome back to Divine Mercy Prime. Now we start our news right out in the Vatican. March 13, 2013 to March 13, 2025 is already 12 years since the Holy Father, Pope Francis, ascended the leadership or the helm of the Roman Catholic Church. In the upcoming report, Seminarian and Pastoral Year Bernard Asogno takes us back memory lane to look at the leadership of the Pope within this time, his stay at the helm of the Church. Let's get details in his report.
March 13, 2025 marks exactly a decade plus two of Pope Francis's election to the papacy, a period that has been characterized by a distinctive emphasis on pastoral care, social justice, and a renewed focus on the Church's mission to the poor and marginalized.
The poor at the center of the gospel, are at the heart of the gospel. If we take away the poor from the gospel, we will not understand the whole message of Jesus Christ.
Elected on March 13, 2013, the Argentinian Jesuit has brought a fresh perspective and a more accessible way of looking at the world's oldest institution, the Church. Bearing the name Francis from St. Francis of Assisi, his pontificate has been described and called a poor church for the poor, highlighting the practical demonstration of the virtues of simplicity and service.
For God so loved the world.
The encyclicals published by Pope Francis during this period of 12 years has helped to shape the world in one way or the other, ranging from Laudato Si, issued in 2015, that challenges the care of the environment, to Fratelli Tutti, published in 2020 with emphasis on the importance of fraternity and social friendship, and not forgetting his contribution to the understanding of the family through his apostolic exhortation, Amoris Laetitia. His travels during this time of his dedicated service to the Church, most especially to Africa and South American countries, showcases his commitment to the issues of poverty, inequality, and social injustice.
Tanto ho sentito come soffrono ambedue. Le guerre fanno con questo, ma qui siamo andati oltre le guerre. Questo non è guerra già, questo è terrorismo. Do you love me? Then thank you very much.
Recently evidence of his pontificate so far is his emphasis on synodality, which fosters a process of listening and dialogue within the Church. As the world celebrates today Pope Francis's 12th anniversary in his pontificate, their ardent desire and wish for him is to gain back his health so that the torch of his fatherly and apostolic blessings may reach out to the world's farthest end.
So happy anniversary to the Holy Father Pope Francis. Now we bring you back to the Diocese of Buea to talk some Lenten activities. And now we are looking at the songs that are selected and sung within the church or within the masses these seasons of Lent. Now, choirs in the diocese have been urged to carefully master the harmonies of their songs to ensure that they are found in the Cameroon hymnal, and also challenge themselves to have additional Lenten songs that suit the Lenten season in times of liturgical celebration. The call was made by Buea Diocesan Chaplain for Choirs, that's Reverend Father Terry Nzime, as faithful continue observing the Lenten season. Let's meet Nadesh Menechung in this upcoming report.
According to paragraph 13 of the Roman Missa's instruction, the use of instruments in the liturgy during Lent is meant to be moderated. The purpose of this moderation is to limit excessive color in the music in anticipation of the celebration of Easter. This reflects the season's penitential nature, where the focus is on prayer, fasting, and almsgiving, while singing remains an integral part of the liturgy, as noted by St. Augustine. Instruments are not completely banned, but are instead used in moderation to support the singing. Reverend Father Thierry Nzime, the diocesan chaplain for choirs in the Diocese of Buea, highlighted the importance of variety in musical selection for the season.
We are used to using drum kits and guitars and the keyboard. We can suppress the guitar, suppress the drum kits, and use only the keyboard. If we are used to using only the keyboard, we can suppress using drum kits in the keyboard and use just sustained voices within the keyboard, registered in the keyboard memory, such as, for example, pipe organ, and also simply just the string and sound to accompany the singing, so that we have pure music on the side of instruments and pure music on the side of the choristers. So there is no ban with regards to the use of instruments, rather there is their moderate use.
While there are over 20 Lenten songs available in the Cameroon hymnal, Aloysius Fonkeng, a music expert, encouraged choirs not to limit themselves to just these. Instead, he urged them to explore other Lenten songs, fine-tune their performances, and ensure the spirit of the Mass remains intact.
Though it is a season when the church asks us to re-examine ourselves, it doesn't mean that it's a season when we sing in church as if we are singing a dirge or dirges. You know, we are not at a funeral. You want to sing, people do God of mercy and compassion. They can sleep on the song. Or you want to do the song by Lucien Days, yes, I shall arise. You take 2 days to sing that one song. It's not necessary to do it that way. You must sing it briskly still. Yes, I shall arise and return to my Father. You don't pull and pull as if you were mourning.
Reverend Father Nzime further emphasized that the beauty of music should be reflected in the voices of the choristers, with instruments used in a moderate manner during the liturgy, particularly throughout the Lenten season.
To exert themselves and do the hard work, especially let them go back to the Cameroon hymnal and get out the harmonies for those songs. They are very beautiful songs and their artistic value is still yet to be matched. So I would like to encourage them to go back to the hymnal, get out the harmony of those songs, challenge them. If you are called St. Cecilia Choir, for example, ask yourself during this time of Lent, how many new Lenten songs have we learned during this time of Lent?
Choristers are advised to carefully master the harmonies of the songs found in the Cameroon hymnal and even challenge themselves with additional Lenten pieces to make the liturgy vibrant, lively, and meaningful for all participants.
On his part, Aloysius Lekie from our newsroom also met with Reverend Father James Ajombo, priest of the Diocese of Buea, to examine the significance of the sacrament of confession within the Lenten season in the church. He did this report as well for this edition of our newscast.
Catholic Christians continue to observe the period of Lent in the church liturgical calendar. The church always encourages Christians committed and carry out penance for their wrongdoings. Reverend Father James Ajombo, priest of the Diocese of Buea, in the following excerpt situates the sacrament of reconciliation and why it's important for Christians to carry out this sacrament during this Lenten season.
The sacrament of confession or penance, as some people refer to, is a sacrament where a sinner, someone who is guilty of mortal sin, someone who is guilty of offending God, doing something wrong in the sight of God, presents him or herself to the priest and requests. Basically, during this period of Lent, when we are doing a lot of penance, one of the ways of doing penance is going for confession. Penance is not about crying. John Paper will tell us that penance is not crying, but penance is actually confessing and making a change. So many people would feel very sorrowful during this period of Lent. They will show all forms of austerity, like they want to do things that show that they are really sorry, but they won't go for confession. So that's not enough. For you to really have the fruits of the period of Lent, it is important that you go for confession and be absolved and be cleansed of your sins.
Father James says going for confession should not be seen as just going to meet a priest, another human being, for confession, but the priest acts in the person of Christ.
You say present yourself to the priest, someone may have the idea of, oh, I'm going to talk to a man like me, I could just talk to God already. But then when we read the Gospel of John chapter 21 verse 21 following, we understand that Jesus, after his resurrection, breathed the Holy Spirit on the apostles and commanded them to forgive sins. And he said, those whose sins you forgive, the sins are forgiven them, and those whose sins you do not forgive, the sins are kind of returned. He would say that. So Jesus gave this power to the apostles to forgive sins, not just in their name, but in their name. And the priest today represent the apostles carrying on this sacrament, in imparting this sacrament. So when the penitent approaches a priest and confesses his or her sins, the priest listens to the sins, could give you an advice, could give you tips on how not to fall into these sins again. And then the actual point of the sacrament is the absolution, where the priest in persona Christi forgives your sins, that acting in the person of Christ.
Despite the church's call, most Christians are still a little reluctant to go for confession. Father James says there is no time for confession and encourages all to go for the sacrament of reconciliation and not to think that the penance given by the priest is equivalent to the weight of the sins committed.
Christians are shy about confession because of many misconceptions about it. Many people think it's a tribunal of judgment. You are going to be judged. And many Christians think that when you go tell the priest your sins, he's going to be looking at you and say, oh, you did this, you did this. No. The priest is bound by what is called the confessional seal. And the priest cannot in any instance reveal the sinner and the sin. The remarks I'll make about confession is there are no times of confession. You can go for confession in the morning and go again in the evening, and go again in the afternoon. And it is very important, especially during this period of Lent, to go for confession as many times as possible, to make the effort in every sense of the word to stay without sin in your soul.
Christians are thus advised to prepare themselves before going for confession by beginning in their hearts with the zeal and willingness to confess their sins and carry out penance, trying not to sin again.
Now, let's talk something else. Candidates preparing for ordination into the ministerial priesthood in the ecclesiastical province of Bamenda usually have a year set aside for them for pastoral experiences within the framework of their formation. Our reporter Franklin Fomukong in this upcoming report highlights the stages of seminary formation within the Bamenda Ecclesiastical Province with specific insistence on the pastoral year that is always accorded to the seminarians. He spoke to some seminarians and did this report. Details.
Pastores Dabo Vobis is a post-synodal apostolic exhortation written by Pope John Paul II following the Synod of Bishops on the formation of priests. Drawing specific inspiration from this document and other ecclesiastical documents that discuss formation of priests like Presbyterorum Ordinis and the new Ratio Fundamentalis, the Bamenda Ecclesiastical Province has provided guidelines for the formation of candidates preparing for ordination into the ministerial priesthood.
Ecclesiam tuam sancta regere et conservare digneris.
9 years minimum is the duration for initial formation of these candidates. The candidates spend 1 year in the propedeutic seminary, 3 years of philosophical studies, 1 year pastoral experience, and 4 years of theological studies. Within these years, seminarians are formed intellectually, spiritually, humanly, and pastorally.
Priests after the heart of Christ. Priests who do not model their lives according to this world. Fools for the sake of Christ. Men in the world but not of the world.
As we read in the recent Ratio Fundamentalis Institutionis Sacerdotalis, number 3, that the formation of priests is eminently communitarian in character from the outset. The vocation to the priesthood is a gift that God gives to the church and to the world, a path to sanctity or to sanctify oneself and others.
As per the pastoral year, seminarians spend time in parishes or institutions as the case may be, learning from experienced priests and gaining practical experience as the disciples learned from their master Jesus.
I'm a seminarian working with the youth of the Diocese of Boya. So already 6 months pass, but with the work with the young persons, there is joy because a few of them are really committed, while others just come. But when they gather, you see the joy, they emanate the joy they give out, because being together with the young persons brings about joy since we come to realize their own enthusiasm, their willingness, their own different charism, and their own different gifts.
Bishops and seminary formators in the province continually emphasize the importance of forming priests who are holy, knowledgeable, and pastoral. Seminaries are also encouraged to provide a well-rounded formation program that prepares candidates to serve the church and the world effectively.
And just to highlight here that on April 24, 11 candidates will be introduced or will be ordained into the ministerial priesthood of the Diocese of Boya. It's as an event that's upcoming in the diocese, as earlier indicated through a communique by the local ordinary, His Lordship Michael Bibi. Now, let us talk something else, this time health. Today, March 13, 2025, is commemorated across the globe as World Kidney Day. And the theme for this year is, Are Your Kidneys Okay? Detect early, protect kidney health. And the aim of the Kidney Day is to raise awareness about the health of the kidney and the diseases that also affect the kidney. From our newsroom, Magdalene Wondo talked to a nephrologist, Dr. Dennis Georges of the regional hospital here in Boya, to look at the importance of early detection and challenges on the preventive measures of kidney diseases. Let us have details in this report.
Every year on the second Thursday of March, the world commemorates World Kidney Day under the theme, Are Your Kidneys Okay? Detect early, protect kidney health. 19 years of raising awareness on the importance of kidneys to overall health worldwide, World Kidney Day cares about sustainability and promotes kidney health. Dr. Tewafer Dennis, kidney specialist at the Regional Hospital Boya, commented on the importance of early detection of kidney disease.
When it comes to kidney disease, they are silent. That is, you can get it and carry it for years without knowing. That's why we encourage people to come for early detection. That is, when you don't even have symptoms, when you don't know you have the disease. When you come for early detection, we can detect the disease early enough so that the hospital the medical team can do something either to stop the progression or to slow the progression. Screening of kidney disease, yes, everybody can go for the screening. But recent study have shown that massive screening is not that cost effective. If you have hypertension, if you have diabetes, if you are obese, if in your family you have somebody who have a chronic kidney disease, yes, you are eligible for the screening.
The human body requires a kidney to function properly, and without a healthy one, even the simplest of tasks becomes difficult. That is why the general population is called upon to do a kidney screening, know their status, especially people above 40 years. Being a debilitating and life-altering condition that affects millions of people the world over, patients suffering from kidney disease face numerous challenges that impact their physical, emotional, and financial well-being. Kidney specialist Dr. Dennis again makes known some challenges faced by patients.
We receive people here at the end stage, and when the disease has reached the end stage, it's a burden for everybody. The burden for the patient, because those are patients who has several other diseases and complications from the kidney. When we look at the financial burden that is associated with the management of chronic kidney disease, it's much. They have their dialysis free, but they still have to transport themselves from their various homes to the hospital 2 times a week. They still have to buy medication that we prescribe here out of their pocket.
Kidney disease is among the emerging group of non-communicable diseases with a growing health concern. While some risk factors cannot be changed, there are many ways to reduce the risk of developing kidney disease by making healthy life choices and managing underlying health conditions.
We should stay hydrated. Drink water. Take about 2 liters of water per day. No smoking. No cigarettes or any type of drugs. Don't take, we should advise people not to take anti-inflammatory drugs except prescribed by the doctor. Now, when you have one of these diseases that we say is risk factor, obesity, hypertension, diabetes, we need to control those diseases.
Worthy of note is that World Kidney Day was established in 2006 by the International Society of Nephrology and the International Federation of Kidney Foundations, aimed at making a difference in the lives of people affected by kidney disease and promoting health worldwide.
Now let's take you to talk some sport that the Southwest Regional Assembly of Fecafoot has adopted this March 13, 2025, that 24 clubs of the Southwest region are eligible for the Regional League, Southwest Regional League 2024-2025 season. The meeting held at the Fecafoot headquarters here in Buea and was chaired by the president of Fecafoot of the Southwest, Ndaze Valerie. Let's meet Hilarion Tukov from our newsroom, who was there at the Fecafoot headquarters and brought this report.
The Cameroon Football Office of the Southwest Region in Buea, this Thursday, March 13, 2025, the General Assembly of this body sits ahead of the 2024-2025 Football League, chaired by the President, Ndaze Valerie. The 2024-2025 Southwest Regional League of Fecafoot will feature 24 clubs housed by 4 pools consisting 6 per pool. The region's football boss discloses the innovations of this football season.
We'll be starting this year's championship with 24 clubs divided in 4 pools of 6, and it's going to be an exciting, thrilling competition this year, because within the past 3 years we've been able to promote 2 teams into the elite divisions. We were not successful during last year, and we have looked into some of the possible issues that would have pushed us not to gain qualification last year, and I can assure the population of Southwest that we have identified those problems, and this year we are going to work hard to see that those problems don't repeat themselves again, so that at the end of this championship, our champion will be going for the national interpose with the objective to see that they should pick up a qualification to the national elite 2 competition. We have so far signed some sponsorship deals. For example, we signed with AfriScout, which is there to scout players from our region to see that they can put them into the football market. We are at the verge of concluding a partnership deal with MSI, Media Sport Info, which is a well-known sport channel in Cameroon, and also they are on satellite, Canal Satellite Channel 328, which to me it's a platform where players from the Southwest can be seen playing at the international scene, and this is also a source where the best players can attract clubs from other parts of the countries or within the country.
In attendance as well is the fourth National Vice President of Fecafoot, Mbiga Felix, representing the National President of Fecafoot, Samuel Eto'o. The football official from the national ranks is satisfied with the deliberations.
I think from the General Assembly they are well prepared for the new season, and I see the club president were very ready. We just worried that they were all answered during the General Assembly, and I think that's how we will have a better season this year. And from all indications show that Southwest still want to come up with another L2 ticket, which is very important for this region because of the stages that the head of state, His Excellency President Pobi, has given them. They want to make good use of these fields. Dr. Samuel Eto'o sent messages to them to encourage and thank them for the sacrifices that they've been doing for football, coupled with the fact that Southwest is a crisis zone, and they don't even know where they have money to run football. He saluted them and appreciated them for their sacrifices and asked them to continue so that we can make football a unifying factor. And we use this media to encourage those who are still behind, grumbling and talking on social media, to join us because we are succeeding.
During the plenary, the body congratulated the National President of Fecafoot, Samuel Eto'o, for his unopposed election into CAF Executive Committee. The motion of support is echoed to the legendary football star, now administrator, for him to run for the 2025 Fecafoot elections come December.
I wish to seize this opportunity to say a very big congratulations to the National President of Fecafoot, Dr. Samuel Eto'o, for his election into the CAF Executive Committee, a member from the UNIFAC zone. I think the people of Southwest are happy about his brilliant performance during this election, and we are behind him. We give him all the support at the level of CAF and also Fecafoot.
The Southwest Regional Assembly of Fecafoot brought together representatives of participatory clubs among other dignitaries. The league will be launched on Saturday, March 15, 2025.
Thank you, Hilarion Clinton, for that report. We look forward to the launching of the 2024-2025 football season in the Southwest region this Saturday. Now, let us take it to what will end our news this evening. On our foreign page, we are told that countries of the Southern African region are beginning to pull out of Democratic Republic of Congo's fight against the M23 rebels in that country. They have announced the withdrawal of their troops. We also take you to Russia, where an aide to Russian President Vladimir Putin has dismissed short-term ceasefire deal with Kiev in Ukraine ahead of US-Russia talks for a 30-day ceasefire deal between Ukraine and Russia. From our newsroom is Eileen Sama, who has had her eyes fixed on stories that are burning globally. Let's have details in this report.
Southern African leaders have announced they will pull their troops out of Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, where they have been helping the government fight rebel forces. The decision to start a phased withdrawal was made during a virtual summit of the 16-member Southern African Development Community SADC on Thursday. The troops were sent 2 years ago to support the Congolese army fight the Rwandan-backed M23 rebels, but at least 19 soldiers from South Africa, Malawi, and Tanzania were killed when the M23 captured the key city of Goma in January. The SADC leaders said that even though the troops will be pulled out of DR Congo, the bloc would continue to support interventions aimed at bringing lasting peace. The M23 has continued to gain ground in eastern DR Congo and last month seized the region's second biggest city, Bukavu. Over to Niger, where for almost a week the country's service stations have been short of sufficient premium fuel to meet local demand. As a result, long queues of cars and motorbikes have been forming at those that do have a supply. In the West African country, fuel is rationed by the Niger Petroleum Company, SODIDEP, and some people say this does not make their day-to-day activities any easier. Citizens say they drive long distances to Bukoki, a neighborhood in the capital, Niamey, to get fuel, but unfortunately were told there was none, making them waste the little fuel in their tanks. Experiencing a fuel shortage is unusual for Nigerians. Note here that Niger is an oil-rich country with its first refinery built in 2011. Today, due to a number of factors, it is unable to meet the national demand, estimated at over 2 million liters a day. Some Nigerians worry about the lack of transparency in fuel management. Elsewhere, an aide to Vladimir Putin, Russian president, dismisses a short-term ceasefire with Kyiv, saying it is nothing but a temporary respite for Ukraine. It comes as Donald Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff, is in Moscow ahead of US-Russia talks on a 30-day ceasefire proposal.
Ukraine, ceasefire. Ukraine, ceasefire. Just agreed to a little while ago. Now we have to go to Russia and hopefully President Putin will agree to that also, and we can get this show on the road. We can get this horrible war where 2,000-3,000 soldiers a week, every week, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 sometimes. I get the reports, and they're not American soldiers. They're Ukrainian and they're Russian. But people are being killed outside of that. People are being killed in the cities as things explode throughout the cities. And we want to get that war over with. So I think
Russia's military says it has recaptured Sudza, a key town in the Kursk region that was previously taken by Ukrainian forces. Earlier, the Kremlin said it was the final stage of the operation to drive Ukraine from territory it seized across the border. Putin made a surprise visit to Kursk on Wednesday. The head of Ukraine's military also indicated that some of its troops were withdrawing from Kursk. Ukraine's president, Volodymyr Zelensky, says the country is determined to work as quickly as possible with its partners towards peace. Meanwhile, Putin is yet to comment on the offer.
Those are stories there from our international page wraps up this edition of Divine Mercy Prime. Let's quickly look at the stories that were top this evening. We told you in the news that Christians globally are currently celebrating 12 years since the Holy Father Pope Francis ascended the leadership of the Church from the 12th or the 13th of March 2013 to the 13th of March 2025. Now, the population of the Southwest region also has been reminded of the need to constantly check for the health of their kidney. This as the global community this day celebrates World Kidney Day. And in football, 24 clubs have been approved eligible for the 2024-2025 Regional League in the Southwest region. The resolution taken after a meeting today at the Southwest Regional Headquarters of Feka Food. That was the news. We want to thank you very much for your time, for watching, and hoping that you will join us tomorrow same time, 7 p.m. for a fresh edition of our newscast. Recall that at 7:30 a.m. tomorrow morning you have another edition of our news, and at 1 p.m. after midday you have another edition of the newscast. You can also follow us on our social media platforms, notably Facebook, and get more news. Thank you very much. Have a blessed night. Bye-bye.